And we're back. We're going to do Karen, Please Come Back, I Miss the Kids, as requested by a lot of people. It's a pretty easy song. There's some bar chords, nothing super crazy. Like, subscribe, comment, help me out any way you can. That would be great. I have a donation button, music link button, and if you're broke, you can just download one of my Spotify songs. I'll have a link for that. And that's cool too, and free to do. It's a pretty easy song. There's some bar chords, so you'll have to learn how bar chords work. If you don't already, it's a big hurdle to kind of do, but very fulfilling, and a lot of music has bar chords, so it's really useful. I'll explain a little bit in the video, but I'm sure there's 1,000 videos on YouTube teaching bar chords. Maybe I'll do one someday, I don't know, but it's a common thing to have to learn kind of from beginner to intermediate level guitar, and yeah, you should definitely do it. Alright, so let's dig into it. So it's regular guitar tuning, E, A, D, G, B, E, nothing fancy. And there's a lot of strumming, like I said. I think on the video it looks like he's using his fingers to strum, but I use a pick. It sounds very similar, it's not that different. Using a pick is really common, so I wouldn't feel like I'm teaching you to do it the wrong way by telling you to use a pick or something. But if you want to use your fingers, that's cool too. That's what he does. It sounds pretty good. And yeah, let's go over the intro. So the intro starts with a A bar chord. It's this major bar chord. If you already know this one, you're good to go. If you don't, I'll do a kind of quick explanation how to do this. So what you're doing is your first finger is on the 5th fret, pressing down all the strings at the same time. How do you do that? You literally try to flatten it out. I kind of do this cheat where I go on the side of my finger, like here, as opposed to down here on the front where you usually fret notes. And the reason I do that is because you're pressing all the strings at the same time. You want your finger to be flat. If you go straight on, people have the tendency to bend their finger to try to get pressure, which is not what you want to do, because then you'll have gaps in it and a lot of the strings won't. So if I go on the side, it kind of just makes it easier to press everything. The good news is when you're playing the chord, you're pressing other fingers on other strings too. So you're not actually playing all the strings you're pressing, but in order to get the chord right, you have to do that. Cool. So it's first fingers on all the strings, then on the 5th fret, then your third finger is on the 7th fret of the 5th string, your pinky is on the 7th fret of the 4th string, your second finger is on the 6th fret of the 3rd string. So what's happening is your first finger's playing 6th string, your third finger's playing that, pinky's playing that, second finger's playing that, and then your first finger is playing the top two as well. So really what people have problems with when playing this, from my experience, is usually it's this string, the 3rd string, like, doesn't ring out because the back of their pinky is touching that. It starts to sound like that, so make sure you get that out of the way. And then the two biggest culprits are these two strings. People have a hard time using their first finger back here to touch those two strings. So you have to kind of get used to applying pressure there. I'm not really worried about pressing this string too much. I'm really just worried about getting these two with this part of my finger. That's where most of the pressure goes. My hand looks like that in the back of the neck. So there goes your bar chord tutorial. Watch other videos and stuff and practice it, and maybe I'll do one of my own sometime. So anyway, the first chord's an A chord, just like that, the one I learned. The second chord is really easy to get to from there. You just move everything 1 fret back that way. Then these fingers, the ones that are not doing the bar, all go 1 string that way. And that's the chord. So we were here, we go boom, and then boom. Here. I kind of do it at the same time. So now it's first finger, third finger, pinky, second finger, first finger. And that's the C sharp minor chord. So get used to moving back and forth between those. And now we'll do the strumming pattern. So the strumming pattern is what they call swing feel. Really quick to explain that. Straight feel is when the beat is kind of like da 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 da. Swing feel is da 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 da. That's the right way to play it, not straight. When I explain it to people, it's like if you're walking down the street and one foot was shorter than the other, it'd probably walk like do, ga do, ga do, ga do. That's kind of what it feels like. Sometimes I think in my head, like threes, but But honestly, the best way to learn swing feel is to listen to music that has that feel, and then you'll get it in your head, like this song. So anyway, strumming is down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. And that last down I make short. And the way I do that is I just let go of this right after I hit it. Not while I hit it, because then it'll sound like that, but I hit it, and then I let go. I'm not going like that, I'm just stopping pressure, like that. So I'm almost just not using my muscles. I'm also hitting a little bit harder on the second one, too. And that's the intro. So you're going to do the whole thing twice. It's down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, back, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down. Cool. So that's the intro. And then he goes into the verse. The verse is pretty easy if you can play that part. A lot of the rest of the song, if you can play the intro, you should be able to play the rest of the song. That's the good news. Bad news is the intro has bar chords. So you do exactly what you did in the intro 4 times. So it's 1, second time, 3rd time, last time. Then he goes to a B minor. So when you were at the C sharp minor, the chord that I stopped on, which is the second chord you learned in the whole song, you go down 2 frets. Now your first finger, the shape is exactly the same. You just go down 2 frets, and now your first finger's on the 2nd fret, and that's going to be a B minor. So the strumming there, and I don't want to be too particular about the strumming because I kind of feel like he's making it up as he goes along. So I don't want to have to be like we have to do exact replica of what he's doing, unless you want to. But I feel like he's probably not playing the song the same every time, especially since I've done so many of his songs and they're often like that. So I'm pretty confident at this point that he's not being really particular. So what he does is down, down, up, down, up. And you get to the B minor. Down, down, up, down, up. And then another down, and then an up, down, up. So it's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. In slow motion, it's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. 2, 3, 4. And then right after that, he goes to an E chord, not a bar chord. Yay, really easy. So it's open 6th string, 2nd finger, 2nd fret of the 5th string, 3rd finger, 2nd fret of the 4th string, 1st finger, 1st fret of the 3rd string, and then open B, open E. Just like that. He plays it and just lets it ring out for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then an E7. Good news is E7 is easier than an E. So this is an E. E7, all you got to do is take off your 3rd finger, your ring finger. And you're just pressing those 2 frets. So now the D string is open. 4th string. So let's do the whole verse. I'll skip the intro because it's kind of the same. 2nd time. 3rd time. Last time. Into the second verse. Second verse is very similar to the first verse. A couple little things change here and there. So let's get going. So it starts the same. A to C sharp minor with the same strumming pattern. So you already know this. And he just does that one time like that. After that, he keeps doing that pattern, but the strumming is a little different. And I don't want to be too nitpicky, but I felt like it was kind of important at this part. He does it again later, too. So it's it's cool. That hit makes it sound like a drummer is there or something. So what's going on? Playing the first one just down. The second one, I'm doing what they call muted or choked or something. So what I'm actually doing, I've done this in other videos too if you've seen it. I'm playing the first one like that, and the second one I'm still keeping my fingers there, I'm just releasing pressure. So now everything's making a clicking sound. When you play it really fast in the middle of the strum, it just sounds like that. You're hearing that note a little, that's this going here, that's fine. You won't hear it when you're playing really fast. So it's down and then a choke. Really, a choke should be easier than playing the chord because you don't have to hit any notes. And then an upstroke where you're pressing. So you have to get used to kind of doing some coordination with pressing and releasing here. And it's really fun when you get to do it. Music like reggae music. Use that all the time, FYI. So you can use it in other styles of music too. So it's down, choke, up, up strum, then up strum, then a down choke. I'll do it really slow. It's easier to play than explain it. Down, choke, up, choke. So it's down, down, up, down. Here it is really slow. 3, 4. And he does the same thing at C sharp minor. So together, so he does that 3 times. One time being one and the other chord. And then I'll play the whole thing at the end. Then he goes to B minor. Again, we already know this. This was the C. Here's the first chord. Here's the second chord. B minor. You just go back 2 frets, same shape. So you're on the 2nd fret. This is the same strumming as you did when you did the B minor on the first verse. So you should already know it. It's down, down, up, down, down, up, down. Then he goes to an E again. We already know this. Then an E7, we already know this, just like the first verse. And he goes back to the A, it's the first chord we learned. And the strumming is a little different here, but it's actually really easy. So it's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Whew. One more time. So that's the whole second verse. Let's play the whole thing. Again. Last time. B minor. E, E7, A. Now we're at the bridge, which is more or less the same kind of strumming stuff, some different chords. So it starts with the D chord. This is a pretty basic, easy chord that a lot of people know. If you don't know it, what it is, you start on the A string, the 5th string, open. D string is also open. First finger is on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. 3rd finger is on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. 2nd finger is on the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Usually when people play D chords, they start here on the 4th string strumming. Starting there. On this one, I noticed that he starts on the 5th string, so we might as well get it right, so there's not another bad tutorial on YouTube. There's enough of those. And what I do is I kind of cheat. I put my thumb over and touch that low string, the 6th string, E string, because I don't want it ringing out. I don't want it changes the sound of the chord too much. So I kind of touch it with that, so it does that. You don't have to. You can just miss it. It's funny, I did it without even thinking. I always do that. So the strumming on this is down, down, up, down, up. Down, down, up, down, up. It's pretty easy, pretty basic stuff. And then we go to a D7 chord, which requires a little bit of rearranging. This finger right here, this note needs to go back 2 frets. So you have to rearrange to make that happen. Everything else is the same notes. What am I doing? It starts the same: fifth string open, D string, sorry, fourth string open, then second finger, second fret of the third string, first finger, first fret of the second string, third finger, second fret of the first string. And it's the same strumming. So we have D, D7, and F sharp major. Sounds intimidating. It's really easy. It's the first chord that we learned in the song, the A bar chord. You go back 3 frets, so now your first finger's on the second fret. And that's what it is. It actually looks a lot like the B minor, but these fingers are going to be down there. So A, F sharp. 5th fret, first finger, 5th fret, first finger, 2nd fret. Strumming is the same. Down, down, up, down, up. Then we go to an F sharp 7, which is really easy to explain. It's the same thing as an F sharp, just take off your pinky. Note now your first finger is going to be barring that 2nd fret of the 4th string. It requires a lot of power with your first hand to do that, so make sure you have a pretty easy guitar to play. It'll definitely help. F7, F sharp 7, I'm sorry. Then a G major. So the best way to think of this is go back to the F sharp where you were right before the F sharp 7, and then go up 1 fret. That's the best way to remember it. This was F sharp 7. Press that back down again, go up 1 fret. If you do it all together, it's like that. G, do that 2 times. Then G minor, which is just like a G, except now you take your second finger off. So now you have to note that your first finger is pressing all of those. So it's a huge bar. I cheat a little because that's a lot to press down. I put my second finger on top of my first finger so I can like apply more pressure. I just want all the help I can get when I'm doing that chord. So it's, to explain it, it's first finger, 3rd fret of the 6th string, 3rd finger, 5th fret of the 5th string, pinky, 5th fret of the 4th string, and then first finger is on the 3rd fret of the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st string. And the same strumming. Actually, it's a little different, sorry. It's down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Again, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Let me go back to a D again, just like the, it basically starts over again, like the starting of the bridge. Back to D7. Same strumming as before. F sharp, same as before. Then it goes to G again. This time he just strums it once. And he says, I think it's on the word please. Please hear me now. Then all I want, and he goes to a G minor. So it's kind of interesting. The first time around the bridge, he's strumming the whole time. The second time around the bridge, where he goes back to the D again, it's the same thing, but he holds on the G and the G minor. So let's play the whole thing. So once you get all those chords together, you can come back and watch this part of it. Starts on D. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up. D7. F sharp. F sharp 7. G. G minor. D. D7. F sharp. G. Hold. And then G minor. I think the lyrics are, please hear me now, all I want is for you to live. And that's the bridge. Verse 3 is actually the same as verse 2. The only difference is when he gets to B minor, instead of doing the strumming, he just holds it, and he says, sometimes I stroke it. And then everything else is exactly the same. So instead of going through and explaining that whole thing again, just do it exactly what you did in verse 2, but hold the B minor. I'll play it through once so you understand. Starting from the top of verse 3, which is an A chord. Second time. Last time. That's the B minor. choke it, he says. Go to the E, just like you did before. E7, back to A, and you strum it. We're at the second bridge. It's also exactly like the first bridge, and there's only one difference, kind of like verse 3 was to verse 2. He plays the whole thing exactly like you did the first time you played the bridge, except when he gets to the G minor, he strums. Instead of strumming through the second time through that, the second bar, he just kind of mutes the strings and goes down, down, up, down, up. He makes a joke like, oh, I already said that or something. I'm not sure if it was a joke on purpose or he was just kind of winging it or something, but that's what he did. So instead of explaining the whole bridge, I'll just play through it, but everything's exactly the same except for that one part, and I'll show you where it is. The G minor. Okay, verse 4. Verse 4 is almost exactly like verse 3. The only difference is he gets that B minor and he holds it. And then instead of going to an E, he goes to a D minor, which I'll show you how to do. Also, it's important to note he does the strumming a little bit different on this one. And I don't think it's really super important because if you did the strumming the way you did on the third verse, certainly nobody would be offended. Nobody would even notice. I might notice, but I certainly wouldn't care. So feel free to just do it like you did the third verse, but in order to be a proper teacher, I have to explain what he did on the recording. So on the first chord, he goes down, down, up, down, and it's a choke on the last one. Down, down, up, down. And then he goes to the C sharp minor, and it's the strumming kind of like before. Down, choke, up, choke. So it's from the beginning. And now he goes back and forth between these two chords 3 times, like we've done before. The strumming's a little different. Now he goes down, up, choke, up. Down, up, choke, up, choke. Down, up, choke, up, choke. Fast, it sounds much cooler. So it's kind of a variation. Before he was going. Now he's adding an extra up, down, up. Doesn't really matter, not super important, but if you want to be exactly like the recording, that's what he does. He does that 3 times and he goes to a B minor like we already know. Then he moves up to a D minor, strums it once, and then really short. So a D minor, if you're already at B minor, the easiest way to learn this is you just go up 1, 2, 3 frets. Now your first finger's on the 5th fret. That's a D minor. He plays it for 4 beats. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then really short, just like before. As soon as you play it, you let go. It's not a choke. You want to hear the chord, but it's very short, not long. So I'll play that whole part. At least I'll try to. Second time. Third time. E minor. You give me back my son, is what he says. Then D minor. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we are almost done with the song. There's one more new section, and the rest of it is kind of the same stuff again. Once again, like, subscribe, comment, listen to my music, do nice things. Thought I'd throw that in there. If you got this far, you were pretty dedicated. So it goes from an F sharp minor to an E minor to a D minor. So the last chord we played in verse 4 was a D minor and then short. And to get to an F sharp minor, you just go up 1, 2, 3, 4 frets. So now your first finger should be on the 9th fret. And if you have dots on your guitar like me, there'll be a dot. Oh, you can't really see it in the light. There it is. There's a dot right there. There's a dot there and there and there. So there should be a dot on the 9th fret. So once again, you're at a D minor on the 5th fret. You go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 9th fret. F sharp minor. So it's 1, 2, down, down, up, down. Very easy. Then it goes to an E minor, which is just back 2 frets, same shape. Then to a D minor, you go back 2 frets, same shape. In fact, D minor is where you came from. That was what the last chord you played on verse 4. And the strumming, he does that twice, and the second time the strumming is down, down, up, up, down. So I'll play that far. So that he does it 2 times all the way through. The second time, you'll see what I did there. When I play D minor, he goes down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's like down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's pretty fun. And then he goes to a B minor, which you should already know. It's the same thing as all these other minor chords you've been doing in this section, but on the 2nd fret. Down, down, up, down, up, twice. Does it 2 times, so back to a D minor on the 5th fret. So this whole section, a good way to think about it is it's just like that B minor or D minor chord. You're just moving it all around. It's kind of like common in punk rock and stuff. So it sounds like he likes some of that music. So let's start it again from the beginning. Remember, you were just at D minor in the 4th verse. You go up to the 9th fret. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, D minor. Down, down, up, down. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Whew. It's a lot of strumming to remember. Again, if it's really confusing and you don't want to nitpick, depends how OCD you are, you can just kind of strum similar to like the other parts and it'll totally sound fine. As long as the rhythm is good and the chords are right, it'll be cool. Yeah, and he holds that D minor and he says, probably shouldn't have killed your dad, but isn't. And he hits an E again. We already know this one. This is the other open string chords we played before. Then he hits an E7. We already know this one. And then we're kind of, I want to call this a verse. It's maybe like the outro would be the way to describe it. It's kind of like the verse, but a little different. So this is familiar stuff. Goes back to that A to C sharp, just like the beginning of the song. We already know that. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's the pattern he's doing there, if you want to be specific. Down, choke, up, choke, up, down, up, choke, up, down, up. He does it just like that 2 times. And the second time there's like a cutoff in the video. So if you want to imitate that live, you can just cut off in the middle of that second time through, or you can play it all the way through to the end. Wouldn't be so specific, because without the video, you can't do it exactly like that. And then he says no, goes to a B minor, just like we already know. And he holds that, and he goes to a D minor, which is on the 5th fret, just like we know. And then he goes to an A, which is the first chord in the whole song. And that's the whole thing. I'll play that outro last verse one more time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comments anything else you want to hear. I know I always ask that, but I have to keep up to date for what people are interested in hearing. But I just want to let everybody know I appreciate them, and it's so awesome seeing everybody's positive reinforcement and learning and all these nice things. And I promise I will continue to make videos as long as I have more than 0 views on the channel. And appreciate the support and all that. Like, subscribe, comment stuff, and it helps me out, and it's a lot of fun too. So I'll see everybody next time.